Monster Hunter
Worlds! Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to all the geeks out there in our little geekdom. Right. I'm sure you know what that means. You've already seen the intro, so you know it's all about Monster Hunter Worlds. It is. Anyway, so the idea behind all of this, just to give you an idea, we got a review copy of the game. We got to review the game. We got
Thank
to
you,
play the
Sir
game.
Pinnacle.
Stir Pinnacle, you guys freaking rule. Thank you so much. We got a chance to review this game.
It's not a full review of the game
As
because,
you know.
as we said, the game is really big. It's really long. So it's Ziptiffy's first 48 hours, my first 3 hours. I only played for 3 hours because I had other things to do as
Yeah.
well. But I have an understanding of the game and I've seen some of the
She
ins
played
and outs.
multiplayer
So
with other people.
I do have a little bit of say in the game, but most of the talking will be coming from Ziptiffy.
It will.
Besides, it's his turn to review a game anyway.
Yeah, it seems it's my turn to review a game. So anyway, let's get on with this, shall we? So, how it actually works. We're going to get from the very beginning of the game, okay? You get to character creation. So you get to create your character. As most games nowadays, you get to create your own character, make the look and all that stuff. So you'll notice my character's bald because, well, it's me. And I base my characters on myself. So if you watch GTA videos, you know every character that I've got is bald because he has to be. Anyway, so I created my character. There's quite a lot to do with the character creation. I mean, not as much as, for example, what you would get in Dragon Age and things like that, or some of the other games where you get to like really fine tune your character.
But it's pretty cool.
But it is quite wide. It's quite varied. So the chances of you looking like another character are very slim. On top of that, you get to also create your Palico. So you get to work with your Palico. Now, for those of you who do know what Monster Hunter is,
For those of you who don't know what a Palico is, cut. Paste.
paste.
This is a Palico.
This is a Palico. Palico is essentially a cat. Okay, for those of you who don't know the game, it's essentially a cat or a group of a race of cats that have joined you in fighting monsters in the game, essentially.
And you're their meowster.
And you're their meowster. Yes, they talk in a language where they meow most of the things that they say. So it's meowster. It's there are lots of different things. You just have to watch to.
It's so cute.
It's very cute. Okay, so you get to create your own Palico as well, which is quite awesome. And now this Palico, what's really awesome about the Palico, I don't know how you feel about it, but the Palico gets to fight with you. So what the Palico does is when you're fighting the monster, he can distract the monster, and then you can beat the shit out of it from behind. So it actually works out quite well. You can use that to your advantage where you can actually jump onto the monster. You can actually get, like, if the Palico is fighting the monster on one side and you get to a decent vantage point, you can actually jump onto your monster. I mean, it's from most of the games you were able to do that, but you get to jump onto your monster and you get to fight it, hit the weak points and all of that as well. So you can use that to your advantage, and the Palico is actually quite useful in those aspects as well. On top of that, you get hectic damage in this game. Your Palico comes with a little revive bug every once in a while,
It
and
looks like
chucks it at
a
you. Firefly.
yes.
So he'll take this revive bug and he'll chuck it at you and it'll heal you up. So that's actually quite cool. I like that about the Palico. It gives that sense of you're not working alone and you're not stuck fighting this massive monster by yourself.
But you're not. Sorry.
Yeah.
You're not stuck fighting massive monsters by yourself anyway because you can send up an SOS flare.
Yes. Okay. As you guys know, there is that multiplayer aspect in the game, and it's actually really awesome. If you're struggling to fight a particular monster, you send up an SOS flare. Other players from around the world can join you.
They have to be online and.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, the idea is it's got to be online.
Yeah.
So.
But
yes.
they can respond to your call.
So they can respond to your call, and when they respond to your call, you guys get to fight this monster together, meaning that you can actually do different things. So you can distract the monster on one side, he can distract the monster on the other side, and the other player can go in and nail the monster and take him down properly. So essentially that is how it actually works when it comes to your SOS flare. You can bring other players in, up to 4 other players. Three other players. And those 3 players then, obviously, or those 4 players
in a group.
can actually take out this monster. It makes it a lot easier in certain aspects. I've been tempted to use it a couple of times. There are some monsters that are just so damn difficult to beat that it's
I actually
wow.
did use it, and it's not that bad.
Yeah.
That's how I killed the
That-
Pukey
yeah.
monster.
Yeah, she calls it the Pukey monster. It's actually the Puke, but
Or Puka Puka, or whatever they call it. But it's spelled Pukey. So I am going to call it the Pukey monster because he pukeys.
yes. So anyway, over and above that, all right. So that's part of the multiplayer aspect of it. As you start the game, it does drag out a little bit, not like intensely, but there are I think for the first few minutes in the beginning, you have
It's
to
a
do.
very long cutscene.
Yeah, it's basically a cutscene where you get to climb up and do certain things, but your camera is locked into certain positions, and I cannot handle doing that kind of stuff if it's supposed to be an open world game, but it's not a problem because it was only in the first part of the game. It was literally only in the first part of the game. Otherwise, it's pretty much open-ended. It's really awesome. Okay, so through the first part of the game, you've got to deal with going through learning how to play the game, and guys, believe me, it is a steep learning curve.
Yeah,
Very
you
steep.
kind of just get.
You get thrown
chucked
in, you know the basic controls, they give you tutorials throughout the game, but sometimes you don't always get the tutorials depending on what you do. So if
They
you don't
don't-
open an optional quest, you won't get a particular tutorial on how to trap or capture a monster.
No, but also they don't, and it's not a bad thing, guys. It's not
It's
a
not bad,
thing.
no.
But they're not like some games out there where they say, "Come, I'm gonna take your hand
Yeah,
and I'm gonna guide you through the game."
yeah. Personally, I don't
kinda
like
just
that.
go, "I'm gonna take your hand for the first 5 minutes,
10 minutes,
10
20 minutes
minutes,
maybe.
and then okay, cool,
Yeah,
swim."
exactly. The whole idea is that, or what at least what I find to be the idea that they actually put in there, is that they want you to learn the game yourself. They want you to actually grow in the game. So they're going to give you a few pointers what some of the controls can do. They give you a training area so you can practice with your weapons because there are multiple weapons. When I say multiple weapons, I'm talking about a myriad of different kinds of assault weapons that you can actually use. It's insane. It's really insane. I mean, I was spoiled for choice, and I love that. I love being able to choose what weapon I can actually use in battle, and you can chop and change. So you can upgrade certain weapons for certain monsters, which is really also awesome as well. But over and above that, right, they give you that training area. So they will work with that training area. They'll show it'll show you ins and outs of how to use your weapon when you need to actually use it. There is a handy little help bar on the right hand side as well in case you forget how to do one of the moves for your weapon. They do have a little bar on the right hand side that
Because
actually shows
it's
you all the
not
controls.
standard for us on PlayStation. It's not your standard X.
Yeah,
buttons.
there's different controls for different
Yeah.
things, and there's the obviously the certain powers that you use give you more power to attack and more painful damage. I mean, I've learned this one attack with the bows that is unbelievable. It's like the best thing ever. This thing takes a monster out quickly, but only certain kinds of monsters. So anyway, so they do give you that training area. They give you they run you through a couple of tutorials in the beginning where you have to read a lot. And guys, if you don't like reading, if you don't like the Final Fantasy kind of reading, if you go back to Final Fantasy 10, 9,
Then this
8,
game
7,
is not for you.
then this game really isn't for you because there's not much talking in the game.
No.
A lot of it is going to be reading, so you guys are just going to have to get used to that. If you guys are fans of Final Fantasy, you're going to love this. You are honestly going to love this because I'm a huge fan of Final
I've
Fantasy.
said that it's a combination of Dragon Age and Final Fantasy because that's how I see it. That's how I see
Yeah.
the game because it's got the Dragon Age designs and elements and effects and feel, but it still makes you feel like you're in Final Fantasy as well.
Yeah,
And
the music
with-
alone
with
actually
the
puts
music
you in that.
The overly sized weapons and
Yeah, the
fact that
unbelievably
you-
large weapons, which honestly no human would be able to wield.
the fact that you have to read most of the story to actually find out what's going on when
Yeah.
you speak to someone
Mm.
and things like that. So it's got, and I know they obviously chose different aspects of their own games, but it's just in my mind that's the reference that I had.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree. It's got that feel to it, and I love it. Honestly, it really it brings me that feeling of accomplishment as well when I go through this game because it feels like I'm actually doing a Final Fantasy kind of game. There is a very, very steep learning curve to the game because the tutorials you get in dribs and drabs. For example, I did not know how to capture a single monster in this game until I actually did the optional quest to capture a monster. When I did it, then suddenly the tutorial popped up and I was like, oh, that's how you do it.
No, but also, the reason you didn't know until before now playing the game and stuff is because when the beta was released for testing and stuff, we were away on holiday, so we didn't get the chance to play the beta and test everything out. So
Yeah.
there
But
is that
look,
as
yeah,
well.
okay, so I didn't get a chance to play the beta, so I'm giving you the proper review of the game. This is the very first time I've played this game. And, yeah, like I said, it took me a long time to learn certain things, certain controls, certain kinds of flurries when you're using dual weapons, which is more of your fast attack, and your large swords for more of your hectic attacks, where
Final
you're big.
Fantasy swords.
Yeah, well, okay, no, this was like a Sephiroth sword, basically. But
Sephiroth.
but it was a the big swords and how they're cumbersome to use, but they deal a lot of damage, and it's attack and dodge kind of weapons to your Buster swords, which are they're more heavy and just deal a shed load of damage. Now, the thing is, I never played with the Buster Sword because I'm not really into the whole hit and then run really, really slowly. I like to be able to dodge. I like to be able to get out of the way of an attack if I need to. So for me, I used my primary, or the weapons that I used the most: the bow and arrow, the large samurai sword, and the dual short swords. The reason why is because I love to flurry. I love to go in and just smack as much as I can because I love dealing that kind of damage. It's just
Okay.
fun.
So moving on. They've heard enough about the swords and the weapons and stuff. They can see it for themselves.
Don't cut me off halfway through. Anyway, continuing. You've got 3 now you can use. Okay. So yeah, enough about swords, enough about all that stuff. I'm going to move on to the graphics and things like that as well, and give you a bit of an insight into that. Right? And I guess gave you quite a good example of what it was. Think Dragon Age Inquisition crossing with Final Fantasy, not the new Final Fantasies. You're looking at Final Fantasy X, not the graphics per se, but more the just the gameplay
Even
aspect
Final
of it.
Fantasy with lightning and things like that.
Yeah,
So
13 wasn't a bad one either, but I like to go back to 10 because that's the gameplay aspect I feel. Well, 13's gameplay aspect with controls and stuff, but the gameplay aspect okay, say from both those Final Fantasies, just like a all-round Final Fantasy look. To give you a good idea of what it is. So yeah, that's how it comes across to me. But it's seamless, honestly. That when you're going from
It
map
is-
to map, okay, you don't get to switch between large sections of the map, and it just
Supposed-
transitions.
Talk
So,
about the graphics. You said you're talking about the graphics.
oh, I'm so sorry. So anyway, the graphics. Okay, we'll just cut that part out. Okay, so with the graphics, I mean it flows very nicely. I mean, you look at how the characters are built. You look at how the movement is. I mean, their models work very well. They run very nicely on the game. There's no honestly, I didn't see any frame rate drops. To be honest, I didn't see any. If there were, they were very minimal.
But also the amount of detail that they actually went into with the grass and the trees and
Yeah.
the monsters and the people. Like, if your character has curly hair and you run and you stop, your character's hair actually sways a little bit like in real life.
No, the curly hair is more about the bounciness.
Okay, but there's so much detail, and I'm gonna quickly go back there, but it adds to the amount of detail that they put in. Is they actually put facial expressions
Yes.
for your character, so you have to choose them, and it's the silliest things where you've got to
They
choose
look
the
like
characters
such
going.
dorks, really. And that's saying something. I'm a geek, and I'm calling these characters dorks
You
because they look
have
that
to
weird.
you have to choose from that, and it just shows the amount of detail with the graphics and the designing that they actually chose to go into. But
They didn't take it to a realistic level.
no, but it's just so pretty. It's
Yeah.
so pretty.
I'm happy that they didn't take it to too much of a realistic, look for the game, because the idea behind Monster Hunter was never to be this realistic game. It was supposed to be just an anime kind of game. They just added a little bit more realism to
They
it.
hit the nail on
But
the
they
head.
hit the nail on the head with that. The design was impeccable. So, I loved it. I thought it was unbelievable. The way your cloaks flow when you're running, the way your armor clinks when you have certain kinds of armor, unbelievable.
And when it rains, you can actually see the rain and see the raindrops on you. I don't know if you've played in the rain, but I played in the rain the one time, and you can actually see my cloak was getting wet when I had a cloak before it changed to that funny bone.
Yeah, so the engine that they're using is actually, it's doing them good. It's doing them really good. It's actually quite good. I quite liked it.
Now you can move to the gameplay.
Okay, so we're going to move on to the gameplay aspect of all of this. All right, so as they were explaining, moving between sections of the world and stuff like that is seamless and things like that. They weren't wrong. They weren't wrong at all, because honestly, I didn't even notice I moved into a different area when I was moving in. Because one minute I'm looking at the map and I'm busy trying to hunt down a monster, and I'm like, okay, the monster must be here somewhere, and I'm busy hunting it down. And then I open my map and I'm like, wait, this is not the right map. So the transitions between maps are seamless. Granted, you can go to Asteria and you can switch between the maps. So you can go, okay, I want to go to this map, I want to go to that map, I want to go to that map. After that, you got to explore the map yourself. You got to find the monster yourself. The hunting. God, where do I start with the hunting? It's freaking awesome. You literally track them with footprints, with scrape marks,
with
feathers,
mucus.
with mucus. You got to track them like that. Every time you track them, it gets easier and easier for your, what are they called? Spark flies or whatever they're called.
Scout flies.
Scout flies. It gets easier and easier for your scout flies to find the monster. Once you've tracked enough and you find the monster, they're off. And there's a nice big trail of scout flies, and you can run after those scout flies and you can find your target. Unbelievable. It's really awesome.
Hello.
And we have visitors, as you can see. That little visitor decided he wanted to jump in. So
he's our pelico.
He's our pelico, yes.
We have 8.
Yeah.
And that is the worst thing. If you have cats and you play this game, you will think that your cats are meowing.
Yeah, every once in a while, because one of them will meow. You're like, shit, that sounds like my cat. Where's my cat? And
but
it's
not. Your pelico.
But it's your pelico. So anyway, yes, the hunting is just, it's so intense. You've got 50 minutes, 50. You've got 50 minutes to catch this monster. Now it's easy in the beginning because you go after the monster and you're like, easy. It gets harder and harder and harder, especially if you don't level your equipment up. And I learned that the hard way. I learned that the really hard way. Okay, because I got nailed a couple of times and I failed a mission because of it. I learned my mistake and I've started upgrading my weapons. So, your weapons and armor, upgrade them. That's just one piece of advice from my side. Don't renege on that. You need to do that, and also build new armor. Because every time you kill a monster, every time you capture a monster, you get rewards. You can build that monster. You can build that armor. So anyway, we'll talk about armor building just now.
Yeah.
So right now we're talking about the gameplay. So anyway, after you've hunted this monster down, you get to obviously skin the monster, or you get to take parts of the monster, the beak, the scales, and it gives you certain things every single time. When you do that, you get to build your armor. Now we'll talk about the armor and how the armor actually works. And the reason why we're actually bouncing like this is because this is part of the gameplay. All right. As you go back to Asteria. The only place you can build your armor is at the smithy in Asteria. The awesome thing is when you get those certain parts, you can actually pin things to a wish list. So if you don't have the parts for that particular set of armor yet, you can just pin it, and as soon as it comes in, when you get to as soon as you finish a mission, and you go through your list of things that you've done through the mission, it'll tell you this armor set is ready for you to build, and you can go in and start building the armor set. It's freaking awesome. I love it. It really it gives a whole new level to building armor.
You don't have to keep reminding yourself, oh, okay, I need to get this to build this, to do that.
Yeah, because sometimes you're so distracted and you're hunting and you're busy trying to get new armor orbs because you need to upgrade your armor and stuff like that. You're not even focused on actually building the armor that you still want to build. These guys, they actually put the little wish list down, so you don't have to remember. You'll go, oh, okay, oh, there we go, I can build my armor, and you run off and you go build your armor. And to give you an idea why it's taken me so long and I still haven't finished this game, the reason why, let me give it to you right now. This game is an ass about that. You run into the mission and then suddenly there's a new thing you can do. Then you'll go off, and for 4 or 5 hours you'll be doing this because you're having such a ball. They're real asses about this. So, and I am one of those people that I like to veer off course. I never stick to the story the whole time. I'll just like, and I'll go that way, and I'll do my own thing for like 6 hours. And I'll get back, okay, I've got to do some more story. I'm doing a review. I must do the story. But it just keeps doing that. So I thought, no, okay, maybe it's best if I just like focus on the game because I don't want to take away from the gameplay. And if I just rush through this game and try finishing the game, I'm not going to give you something decent.
That's also why we decided to change our Mondays.
Yes, that's also why we decided to change our Mondays, because the games are getting larger and larger out there. And it's not going to be the only time, because it's not going to just be Monster Hunter Mondays. Eventually, when we're done with the Monster Hunter Mondays, we're going to pick another game. And we're going to use that game as the next game for Monday. Because it's just going to work out easier, because you guys will probably get bored of seeing Monster Hunter all the time. But anyway, the whole point is that that's what we want to do for you. So anyway, that's enough of that. The story, the game, the review. This is what we're talking about. So,
Multiplayer.
the multiplayer aspect of this game. Now, I had the most awesome time because I got to play with Blue Monkey Wazza. Now, you guys all know Blue Monkey Wazza.
I don't have any friends.
And I'll link him down below. We'll link his channel down below so you guys can link to that.
Please be my friend.
Alright, I'll leave a link. We'll leave a link to Wazza's channel down below so you guys can have a look. But we got a chance to play, or I got a chance to play with Wazza online. And we started our little squad, and we ran a mission. Now, he was struggling with the mission because he just started the game. I'd already been playing the game for about 17 hours. He had just started the game. So I had just like 17 hours more experience than he did. So jumped in, started helping him out, ran in with my greatsword, and I was just nailing this monster. It was actually harder to kill with two of us there. Somehow, what I think they've done is they've actually leveled the monster up slightly, so it's more difficult. So it's not just easy for you to kill. It's actually kind of difficult. And yeah, they did a good job there because it actually makes it more difficult for you. So the two of us are busy fighting this battle, and here we are. And I hear this chiming in my ears, and it's like, this monster's bloody hard to kill. Wazza was saying, this is taking a long time. I said to him, yeah, it didn't take me this long either for the first time, because it didn't. So clearly the monsters level up when there are more players fighting the monster, which is awesome, because that means it's more challenging. That's what you want. You want it to be more challenging. Even if you call other players in to help you, it's not going to mean it's easy for them to do it. They're still going to have to fight. They're still going to have to work, because it's not just, oh, run in, 1, 2, gun, done. You know, it doesn't work like that. No, they're going to go in, they're going to fight, they're going to actually work hard to get it done. So I like that. I thought that was brilliant.
Okay, so as you saw my little sad outburst because I don't have any friends to play with.
You don't want to say, oh, please be my friend now, because you're going to have like 15 million people doing that.
Please be my friend. Anyway, I did the SOS mission because
If you try to friend her, she's going to ignore you, just so you know.
No, I'm not. I'll add my PlayStation stuff. If I get lots of friends, that's fine. I'll be happy.
No, you won't.
Yes, I will.
People will stalk you.
They can stalk me, it's fine.
Then I'll have to delete your account and put a new one on, Angel.
That's fine.
Ay.
Because I don't have people that I can play this game with, I did an SOS flare because...
You have Wazza, he is your friend.
I did an SOS flare because I couldn't kill the Pukey monster. And I'm still calling it that. And, it's actually...
No comment.
It's really cool because they had 3 other characters come in and we all fought, and it actually doesn't get easier for 4 players as well. And we all not really died because you don't die in the game, you faint.
You faint. I like that. Expect the monster to eat you if you faint.
So we fainted, I think once, my little squad or group or whatever. And then we carried on and we fought the monster and we won. And the cool thing is that I did I joined another party after I killed the Pukey monster, and you still get those rewards. So you can do it as many times as you need to. It's not like, okay, cool, you kill this monster, you get nothing. sort of thing.
Yeah.
Which in some games it happens.
Yeah, with that
But
freaking grind.
it's really cool that you can actually, if you have someone that is struggling, you can go and help them and know that not only did you help this person,
You're getting
but
rewards
you
from it
are still
nonetheless.
getting a reward from killing the monster as well.
Yeah.
So that, like I said, I didn't play the game for that long. I did try out the multiplayer features though, just so that I can have something to say about it as well. And that's obviously my side
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah. Okay. So and to build the armor, it's not easy. Just so you know, it's not just like kill the monster once and hey presto, you got a whole new set of armor. You got to work at it, which means you're gonna have to grind. If you don't like grinding, you're not gonna like doing that. You're gonna just try running through the story and finishing the game. I'm not one of those people. I like to progress and actually build armor and look different and all that stuff. And I like to use different sets of armor for different things. So.
And the cool thing is, I don't know if we mentioned it. Sorry, you interrupted me, so it's only fair. The cool thing is that you can actually make armor for your Palico as well. So like mine at the moment looks like a little lion because he's wearing fur all over.
He actually
his
looks like
things.
he's wearing a yellow ghillie suit.
It's so cute. So you can make your little kitty look really, really cute as well.
Yeah. And to give you another idea of the gameplay, all right, now your stamina starts to run out at certain times and you need to actually eat food to be able to bring that back up. But you can hunt your own meat. So you can go and hunt for some meat, cook the meat, and then use that to actually build up your stamina. You can also buy it if you want to. You can buy stamina packs and stuff like that. But me, I like to immerse myself in the game, and I love doing that. It's awesome. It gives me that feel for actually enjoying this game even more. So I loved it. I thought it was brilliant that part of the gameplay as well. But over and above that, okay, when you're fighting, let me just tell you one thing. You can target the creature. You can target it. It does not mean that if you attack, your character is going to aim straight for it.
No.
You got to actually aim,
Yeah.
which means you got to turn your character, you got to strike him, and then you got to back out because if you don't, he's going to nail you.
Basically, what the targeting is with this one is it
Just that you don't
it
lose sight
locks
of
your
the
camera
creature.
onto it, so
Yeah.
that you don't have to sit and try and move your character and press all the buttons and still keep your camera
Yes.
on the monster. So the target is actually just to lock your screen onto the monster.
which is helpful. That is helpful, but trust me, if you're used to locking on and letting your character do all the work, this is not going to help in
No,
this.
then
You
this
guys
is
are going to
not a game
actually
for
have to
you.
work because this game it actually requires you to achieve. If you're going to achieve capturing or killing this monster, you're going to actually have to work at it. In other words, you've got to turn your character, aim at him, run towards him, and hit him. You can't just hit and then he's going to jump at them. No, you got to run to your character and hit. Use your flurries and all that stuff to take the monster out. So it's work. It's a lot of it's in the beginning it's a lot of work.
It's a very complex game.
Yeah, in the beginning it's a lot of work, but once you get used to it, you start to just get used to exactly what you're supposed to do with each different kind of weapon type. Now, I don't know about you, but I find putting all the monsters against each other actually gave it that extra bit of, awesomeness to it. Where you'll be fighting a monster and suddenly another monster comes into the frame and starts fighting. You know what you gotta do? Get out! Go hide!
Yeah,
because
they don't fight like they don't fight nice. They
Yeah.
don't play fight.
yeah, they beat the crap out of each other, but then if they notice that you're there, they
They'll
turn
go
on
after
you.
you.
Both of them.
I
Then you
had
got two
that.
monsters after you.
I had that really, really mean big
Oh yes,
T-Rex
the
looking thing.
Agerath
and that thing that holds the eggs.
and the
Both
that
noticed me.
The names are really weird for these
I had
monsters.
them
Just so
both
you know.
notice me at once.
Yeah.
And
So,
they were chasing me. And
When
that
you
was
see
not
another
fun.
monster come into the frame, don't do what Kez did. Do what I usually do and run away, go hide in some bushes and wait for these monsters to fight each other out. Once they've sorted themselves out, they'll run in two different directions and you go after your hunt. It's as simple as that. That's what I do. And your hunt will be weakened for it as well, which means it's easier for you to actually fight the monster. But yeah, it's awesome. It's really I honestly I went to sleep. I woke up the next day and I'm like Monster Hunter. I would drive to the shop thinking, what can I do next in Monster Hunter? My brain was going insane with what I should do in Monster Hunter.
That's
because,
why it's taken so long to get this out.
Yeah, because I keep thinking of new things that I can do in this game. It constantly pulls me back every single time. Yesterday, we were so busy yesterday I couldn't play at all. But yesterday, I wanted to play. I wanted to get on the PlayStation and jam. I wanted to play some more Monster Hunters because I wanted to just do something more. Because there's always something new I want to do. I love it. I think it's awesome. One of the best games I have played. I know it's the beginning of the year, but if this is how 2018 is going to start, I'm looking forward to the rest of the titles that get released this year. I don't know about you, but I'm looking forward to the rest of those titles. That's going to be interesting. But anyway, I think we've pretty much we've covered everything good. There are a couple of bad points. I'll forget them now. Talking so much about the good points, I've forgotten the bad ones.
My bad points are not yours. Same bad points, so.
Yeah. Okay, so yes, now you know I don't give perfect scores to games. This game will not get a 10. There are always issues that can be sorted out. The game was slightly buggy, but when I say slightly buggy, I mean I picked up a little bit of lag on one of the videos, or one of the cutscenes that kind of threw me off slightly, but it wasn't hectic. I mean that wasn't that bad. Also, one of the good things about the online features that I didn't mention though was that you can create a private session, play online by yourself, and then join another session later on if you want to. So that is one of the really really cool ones you can do. But over and above that, it's that was one of the issues that I did have, was that it had a little bit of lag, just a wee bit of lag. That was kind of annoying to me. I was thinking that the entire Asteria would have actually been available for you to actually run around with other players in as well. Turns out you can't actually do that. It's just inside the hub. That I wasn't too chuffed with. I wasn't too happy about that. I didn't think that was necessary. I thought that they could have at least given Asteria. Asteria is not that big. They could have actually made the whole of Asteria for all the players to run into each other and mingle. It would have been more fun that way. Maybe a bit, I don't know, maybe a bit overloaded, but I don't think so, because you're only allowed 16 players to a map anyway. Or 16 players to a server or something along those lines. I can't remember what it was. So that was, slightly meh. But, overall, I can't find many problems. I mean, I got used to the fact that the gameplay was difficult to learn in the beginning. And I understand why they did it. It took me a while to understand it, but I understand why they did it. Why they decided that they would actually make the learning curve so difficult, because then it feels like you've achieved something when you actually get it right, which is quite awesome. I love that. I thought it was awesome, the fact that they did that.
So, this is personal preference, because other people might enjoy the game and fight with me, like I know you'll fight with me. But I didn't get into the game as easily as everyone else, and I wasn't wowed by the game as easily as everyone else was. For me, it took time to actually get wowed and get sucked into the game. I'm not going to stop playing. It just obviously took me a bit longer to get drawn in. And then again, personal preference. I don't like games where your character doesn't speak. So especially games like this. So if it's a simple game and your character doesn't speak, that's fine. But for what the game is, I thought that the least they could do is make your character speak. So I'm not going to spoil anything, but there are times where people speak on your behalf. So like your handler or whatever it's called, she will speak instead of you, but you're supposed to be the monster hunter. So
You're both the monster hunter, Angel.
in my eyes, you should be the one speaking, and she can speak, it's fine, but you should have a chance to speak as well. Like I said, that's just my opinion. And then the reading, I'm not a big fan of. So I don't mind it, but I'm not a big fan of reading when I play games. I play games to have fun and hear a story and stuff, and not have to read the story. But it's not a deal breaker. So it's between a 7 and an 8. So I'll give it a 7.5. Just
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna redo my scores anyway, so I don't feel I missed something, so that's why I have to read it. All right, so you got that 7.5. Painful to hear, really is. I'm kidding. Each person has their own preference, so it's fine. So anyway, from my side, all right, the game, with all its problems, I mean, for one, I didn't like the opening scene. I thought they could have done a bit more with the opening scene. With the lag on the one video, that was also kind of annoying. But again, that was like one video and one cutscene out of all of them, which is fine. I can deal with that. And some of the slowness of the character also kind of gave me a bit of a headache, as it were. And the locking system it's good. It's a brilliant locking system, except that when you lock, it relocks when you get back to the monster again, and the monster could be in an awkward place where you have to like figure out how to run in that particular direction, and it can get irritating there. So yeah, that was a little bit irritating. So for me, I'm not gonna go as low as that. I think the game is actually a bloody good game. I really enjoy it.
I didn't say it's not a bad game.
I know. I'm not saying you didn't. I'm not saying you didn't. I'm just saying I like the game. It's a bloody good game.
I like the game too. It's an end game.
It's an game for her. I actually really do love the game. I think it's awesome. It gives that. It makes you want to come back and play it more. It makes me feel like I'm back in the days of Final Fantasy VII.
And like even though it's an end game, I still want to play it. But anyway, I'm going off topic.
Anyway. Anyway. So much as as much as there are those faults, it takes me back to the days of Final Fantasy VII where I would want to carry on playing and carry on playing and carry on playing and carry on playing, and you actually lose track of time playing the game. So for me, I think I'm going to give it a nice high 8.5. The reason why I'm giving it an 8.5 is because there are still those issues, and it's not quite deserving of a 9 or a 10. I mean, I haven't found a single game yet that actually deserves a 10. But it doesn't quite deserve a 9 or a 9.5, but the 8.5, it's a very high score. It's generally some of the higher scores that I do give for games that I really like. And I really do like this game. So yeah, guys, get yourselves to the shops. Go buy yourself this game. It's worth it.
This is a lazy Palico.
Yeah, it's a very lazy Palico. But it's worth it. It really is worth it's well worth the money spent. There's so much to do in it. I can't explain how much there is to do in it. So guys, go out and get it. I'm not going to spoil the story for you at all. So all I can say for you is, guys, you're the hunter. You got to do it.
Join the hunt.
Join the hunt. So as always, guys, you know the whole rigmarole. Subscribe down below if you haven't done so already. If you have and you're not getting any notifications, hit that bell. It'll notify you whenever one of our videos comes up. That side, sorry. Just hit the bell. As you know, we'll leave links to all of our different channels and our different social media networks all down in the bottom as well. Guys, leave a comment if you liked the video. Leave a thumbs up if you loved the video. Leave a thumbs down if you didn't. And also remember, we're leaving a link to Blue Monkey Wazza's channel as well, so that you guys can go and have a look at some of his stuff.
Thing.
No, we're not.
Be my friend.
We're not leaving her PlayStation Network stuff up at all. As much as she thinks she is,
Fine.
She's not going to.
Comment if you want to be my friend.
Yes. And we'll screen them. Anyway, guys, as you know, it's always good to hear, or it's always good to watch you guys, always good to see you guys, as you know, from here, right here, at Geeky headquarters, at the SA Geeks headquarters. Remember, keep it geeky! Bye!